Could a single social media post from years ago completely upend a Senate race?
Graham Platner, the presumptive Democratic nominee in Maine, is now facing that very question as his past online activity comes back to haunt him with explosive new details. Before we dive into this unfolding story, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in US politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like.
It really helps this channel grow and keeps you informed.
Newly unearthed social media posts, first reported by the Washington Free Beacon, reveal a candid and potentially damaging admission from Platner. While on military leave, he apparently bragged about partying it up and using drugs. In a 2020 Reddit post, under the username phustle, Platner described his travels through Europe while on military leave, specifically mentioning using drugs. He even admitted to purchasing cocaine, remarking, "I always wonder what street you're buying your cocaine on, because it's not the street I'm buying my cocaine on."
This isn't just a vague mention, it's a direct acknowledgement of engaging in illegal drug activity. Now, let's talk about the context here.
Platner is a combat veteran, having served in both the Marine Corps and the Army National Guard. The Marine Corps, as many know, has a zero-tolerance policy for illicit drug use. Service members caught using or selling drugs face severe consequences, including expulsion from the Corps and criminal prosecution under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. A Marine Corps memo is quite explicit on this point. Any Marine caught using or selling drugs while attached to the battalion will be prosecuted under the Uniform Code of Military Justice and processed for separation from the Marine Corps. The disturbing part is that Platner's posts suggest this drug use occurred while he was still on the Marine Corps' payroll. He wrote in February 2020 about taking 2 months of terminal, most of it combat leave, and how he was making a pretty penny doing just about nothing. He then went on to describe his backpacking trip through Europe, stating, "Went backpacking through Europe on the government dime, walked the Camino de Santiago, did some drugs and had a blast partying it up in hostels across the continent.
Then went home and went to college." He even added, "I highly recommend it. No regrets."
The timing of this backpacking trip is estimated to be around 2008, when Platner was approximately 24 years old, shortly before he enrolled at George Washington University. This admission of drug use compounds an already growing list of deleted Reddit posts that have put his campaign on the defensive. Platner himself has resisted calls to exit the race, attempting to explain away some of his past comments. For instance, he's attributed the use of slurs and explicit sexual remarks to the crude humor and offensive language he encountered in the armed forces.
However, it remains unclear if that same explanation can be applied to his confessed drug use.
The implications of this are significant. For starters, it raises serious questions about Platner's judgment and honesty, not just to the voters of Maine, but potentially to his superiors during his military service. Did he disclose this drug use? If not, that could be a separate issue entirely. His campaign has not responded to requests for comment on these specific revelations.
These deleted posts have become a recurring storyline for Platner's candidacy.
Previous revelations included insults directed at white rural Americans, expressions of support for communism and socialism, endorsements of political violence, and criticisms of the army as being full of fat and lazy people. While these have dominated online conversations, his electoral prospects haven't appeared to suffer dramatically in the polls so far. As of this reporting, polls generally indicate Platner leading incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins, though historical data suggests Collins often outperforms polls in Maine. This entire situation puts a spotlight on the vetting process in political campaigns and the enduring impact of past online behavior. It also raises questions about what voters are willing to overlook and how much scrutiny a candidate can truly withstand. Platner's campaign is clearly in damage control mode, but the resurfaced cocaine admission adds a new and potentially much more damaging layer to the ongoing controversy.
The question now is whether this revelation will be the one that finally forces a reckoning for the Maine Senate hopeful. So, what do you think about Graham Platner's resurfaced drug admissions and his military service? Should this disqualify him from running for Senate, or is this an issue voters should look past? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. The conversation is far from over, and your voice is a crucial part of it. This is a developing story, and we'll be here to cover every angle.